All right. Hey, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Kakodash. All right, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, which rule well. Peace and much love, honors and blessings. Salutations to the elect of Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, which hold their conduct, composure, and integrity. All right, standing and believing upon the proper and true names, starting with the Heavenly Father, who the world ignorantly calls God. But his proper name is Yahweh. All right, Yahweh is the Lord's name, the creator and maker of heaven and earth and all things. All right, and then you have the only begotten Son, the Son of God, the Lord and Savior, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, but his proper and true name is Yahushai. All right, Yahushai. Yahweh and Yahushai are the names. And call Haloyim Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai forever. Okay? So, this is 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 3. It says, "Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except to come a falling away first." Now, we know that falling away first happened, when we came through slavery. All right, the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, Indian man were put under slavery under the so-called white man. All right, before that, as we were scattered throughout this entire planet, and that happened through, these heathen and Esau spreading us out, selling us into slavery, selling us to other nations, moving us wherever they were at. But over time, through slavery, we discontinued from our heritage. All right? And we forgot who we were as a people. You Negroes, you Latinos, you Native American Indians, man, you're not those titles. All right? You're not a Negro. You're not Latino. You're not Native American Indian. You are Hebrew Israelites. All right? Well, really, Hebrew Israelites, but you're an Israelite. All right? And that right there too is a confusion to our people that was put onto us by the so-called white man, our enemy. I was watching the apostle and the elders live that they did on Tuesday earlier today when I was handling some business, and the apostle made a good point. He said, Esau's our enemy. Why the hell would he tell us the truth? And so that starting with, let no man be deceived. Had we kept the ways of the Heavenly Father and had we followed him and walked in his ways, we would have never got to this level. But the scriptures do tell you that, if we did not obey the Heavenly Father and his ways and we did not follow him and believe him, that this would happen. Our heritage would be discontinued, and it came through a lot of lies. I'm thinking about Monsieur Candy from Django. He goes, "Now there's been a lot of lies in here tonight." Well, the so-called white man really fucked us up with lies, man. All right, the scriptures say that we inherited lies, and that was because we listened to the enemy. It got so bad that this devil forced us to believe certain things as well through our forefathers, our ancestors, our descendants, beat the shit out of us until we believed these lies. Well, like I brought out that example with 12 years a slave with Solomon. He says, "No, your name is Platt." He got hit 3 times, and he was like, "What the fuck?" So he was asked a 4th time. He's like, "What is your name?" And he said, "Platt." That's kind of what happened here, man. And it's really sad. It's really sad what happened to our people. But this was all a mess created by the so-called white man. All right? And in the days that we are living in now, the condition that we're in to this day, all this built around you, man, is a mess from the wicked. Deuteronomy 28:37, "And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whither the Lord shall lead thee." And the Lord allowed us to be led into captivity from West Africa into slavery under the most cruel people on the planet, the so-called white man. Even that, being so-called white, he's not white, he's a red man. All right? And Tawada Yehovah Shema Shad, that the Holy Spirit, the Spirit of life, was given back to our, to us, starting with the apostles and then on down to the elders, to where we can now track this devil, and now we are able to pinpoint exactly who he is today. Because if this wouldn't have happened, we'd still be ignorant of who he really is. And that was even prophesied at about a time that there would be a time where he'd be revealed. And that time is now. Well, it started back, during the Roman Empire, but it all unraveled here in America the most, And so now we can point at someone at who's responsible for all this bullshit, man, of what's going on in America, what's going on with our people, why the world is so fucked up, why everything is closing down, why everything is being destroyed or dying off, why the earth is dying. We can now point the finger at someone, man, because he's the one. He's that one. The guy that was cursed from the very beginning for murder. All right? They had a mark set upon him so that no man would lay his hands on him. Funny thing is, the so-called white man is the only person that has his skin complexion on the planet, and yet he was able to hide himself and deceive the world into making the world believe that he wasn't the bad guy. But he was the original bad guy. He was the bad guy on the planet. He was a serpent in the garden. All right, he's a serpent now. How you know that? Our women are being indoctrinated by this motherfucker's bullshit and propaganda and all this synthetic crap that they teach on the TV and shit and news. Well, mainly these reality shows, social media, and this is all the doings of the so-called white man. You want to know who this devil is? This is it. All right, everything you're looking at, this is it. When you wake up, the fucking headaches you get with the thoughts that you get racing your mind, this is because of Esau. All right? And he built an intricate system. I'm not going to go there. I'm going to go straight. He built an intricate designed paradigm, which is called a system. All right? To keep you going in this loop of all this crap, all these lies. 444, man. I was, just resting, Shit, I got to work tomorrow, man. And this has been the first weekend I've had to where I can actually rest, man. So I'm just taking it, just trying to decompress and just get away from my thoughts. But as I'm laying there, man, I'm watching that show Landman. I mentioned it, I think, yesterday too in my live with the brother. But I was just looking at Esau's greed. And it's literally like that to this moment. And I just started getting mad. I just started getting really mad because, this devil has no intention of letting this go. He has no intention of letting us go. And that doesn't sit well, man. That, especially with the Heavenly Father. The Lord showed the world what kind of attitude he has towards a person like that won't let a people go, especially when it's in regard to his own people. And that was back in the time of Egypt. That was during the time of Egypt. Okay? The Lord pleaded with Pharaoh through Moses and Aaron, telling them, let my people go. And Pharaoh refused. And look what happened to him. You look in the scriptures in Sirach 16. What is that? Romans, the 9th chapter. Okay? The Lord raised this man up to show his power. Well, the same thing is going on again. All right? This devil, Esau, modern Egyptian, refusing to let the people of the Lord go, which are you Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians. All right? It's happening again. Except this is a more cruel person. He's worse than Pharaoh. Because he's proud about it. He brags about it. The scriptures, in fact, let me get one real quick. This is Jeremiah This is Jeremiah. In fact, actually, this is the Lord even telling you what kind of attitude he has about it. Jeremiah 51 and 25. It says, behold, I am against thee, O destroying mountain. Well, and the destroying mountain is who? Who is, mountains represent governments. Who is the destroying government? You know, brother showed a video yesterday about how many military bases are around the planet, but you only have 5 or 6 in America. You know, and they're talking, but they're talking about how the military power is spread too far, or it's spread too far out, and that's where all the money's going, and that's why we know America's about to go down. There's no one here to protect us, which good. What the fuck? I did not know there was a light right there. But yeah, that destroying mountain is America. All right. It says, actually, you know what? Hold on. This may not be. I mean, I'll read it. It says, but behold, I am against thee, O destroying mountain, saith the Lord, which destroys all the earth. And that, you know, that the earth, well, that I was saying too, like, all this mess was caused by Esau. Esau is destroying the earth. Okay? You know, him, you know, it's a funny thing I mentioned landman, but him digging up the oil, or digging the oil up, is taking the blood source from the earth. You know? And then they're putting that shit into everything. That show did show a little bit, man. You know, I kind of like it. But that's the truth. And this devil is using that same shit that he's digging up to put in your pharmaceutical medicines, things you drink through the plastic, all right? When you breathe through, everything has oil in it, you know? And he's just poisoning you. And he's destroying the earth in the process. Why do you think, man, you know, it never used to look like this. The one thing I've been sticking on quite a bit is the fact that colors are dull now. You can see it. You can see it. I actually thought, like a while back, I actually thought my vision was getting worse. Because I remember I walked out one day, I don't even remember where I was at, but I remember for a fact, I thought something was wrong with my vision because it felt like things were duller. Find out, colors are getting dull. The earth is losing its youth. It's losing its life. And that's because of Esau, the destroying mountain, the waster that wastes, all right? The slayer. That's all he's ever done, all right? Even when he wasn't in power, that's all he ever did. Anytime he ever tried to get power, he used violence and deception to do it. And he didn't mind hurting or harming anything around him while at least he got it. You know? And, you know, we're suffering because of it. You know, us Israelites, man, we're suffering the most because of this shit, man. We're literally being affected by it. You know? But all this mess because of Esau. All this mess because he wanted to get his birthright back that he sold. And he, like I said, he you know, what is that one where it's violence is sweet in his tongue, or wickedness is sweet in his mouth? That's, I think, in Job, if I'm not mistaken. You know, if we don't get this devil out of power, man, if he doesn't go down, we're fucked. This planet is fucked. Everything in it is fucked. That's why the Lord has to come back. And we're not talking, and you know, I keep making this very clear, we ain't talking within 5 years, man. We're talking hopefully by the end of this year, or no later than next year. You know? And you people don't even realize how close we really are to the return of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And it's scary. But now even us, you know, us that sigh and cry for the abomination that be done in the midst of the city by this devil, seeing what's happening to our people, you know, we mourning. It's just, you know, we're over it. You know? The water, yeah, Job 20 and 12 says, though wickedness be sweet in his mouth, though he hide it under his tongue. Yeah, that's Esau. That's about Esau. That whole chapter is about Esau. Because it goes into the bones being full of the sin of his youth. That's talking about Esau. The sin of his youth was the first murder committed in the scriptures, which was against his brother Abel. Okay? And then it says, Matthew 24 and 22, and except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, because Esau is literally, he just consumes. You know, what's the word? Colonize. You know, I know there's something behind the word colonize or a colonizer, man. But basically, the concept behind the colonizer is to, you know, take the resources, deplete the land of everything, destroy it, and move on. And that's Esau, man. That's all Esau does. You know? So back in Jeremiah 51 and 25, it says, behold, I am against thee, O destroying mountain, saith the Lord, which destroys all the earth. And I will stretch out my hand upon thee and roll thee down from the rocks, and will make thee a burnt mountain. And that's what the Lord's coming back to do. All right? But it's not just because of that reason. There's other reasons. All right? You know, again, going back to one of the main reasons, you know, for our people. All right? The Lord has had it with our people. You know, what did he say? I will not suffer my people now to dwell in the land of Egypt, in their captivity. This is that Egypt. We're in Egypt right now. Okay? Let me get that. Because I'm gonna go back to Jeremiah 50 and verse 6, where I wanted to originally start. Let me see. Second Esdras, chapter 15 and verse 10, it says, behold, my people, which is Israel, so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, so-called Native American Indians. In fact, I'll just show y'all a little, what do you call it? Just for those who may not know. All right. That's the Israelites right there. All the way from Judah down to Issachar. All right. These are the Israelites. These are the 12 tribes of Israel, which are the 12 nations that belong to the Lord, that the Lord picked. So he said, so whenever the Lord is saying, behold, my people, he's talking about the Israelites. Ain't no other motherfucking people on this planet belong to the Lord, man. And to prove that, the Lord looks at all these other nations like they shit. Well, not even that, less than shit. They are dropping a bucket. You ain't even big enough to accumulate to a turd. All right, you are reputed as nothing, right? That's in because that's something that's gonna get straightened out, man. All right, you other nations, man, want to act like y'all have a fucking a place with us in the kingdom. You don't, and you ain't gonna be with us in the kingdom. You're gonna be under us. For that motherfucker Nate that said, you know, don't worry about the heathen. They'll be with us in the kingdom, nigga. They ain't gonna be with us in the fucking kingdom like that. They gonna be our fucking servants. All right. These motherfuckers never liked us, man. It tells you that they have a commotion against us. They have a tumult, which that is a commotion of war. And that their counsels is to find a way to get us out the way. So why the fuck will we let them be with us in the kingdom? Makes no goddamn sense. So this is 2 Esdras 6 and 56. Well, you know what? Verse 55. It says, all this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes. The Lord made everything around us. Everything around here for us. Not all this concrete bullshit. This is supposed to be nature, grass, life. But Esau rolled it over and flattened it out with fucking tar and what do you call it? I can't even think of the asphalt. There you go. You know, and he thinks he's doing some great ingenuity type of shit, man, and he ain't. You know, where I understood that was in that the first Avatar movie. You know, the guy was like, man, we built y'all road. You know, he said, we gave y'all this, we gave you that, we built you roads. The fuck is a road? You know, quicker transport maybe. What the fuck? You gave me a road? Thank you. That shit don't mean nothing. The Lord already had roads, man. The road to Damascus. But this devil, man, and the rest of these nations, man, they ain't nothing special. You look at the creativity, ingenuity, engineering, all that stuff, man. In ancient times, our technology and our knowledge was superior to these nations. It wasn't until Esau came in and gave these crackhead Edomites degrees and said that they're an engineer. And then you look at the engineer, you look at the infrastructure, look how shit it is. All right. Even Apostle Gabar went into it like a month ago that the American infrastructure received a grade of D this past year. That's pretty fucking bad, man. And it's ugly. And you know, shit, I ride my car and my suspension is on coils. So I feel all that bullshit, man. And I feel how bad it really is. You know? This shit is this place is shit, man. And for anybody to decide to want this place to fucking go on, man, you're out your goddamn mind. We are in captivity. This is what I've been harping on for this past week, man. Because you got a lot of people, you know, our people are stuck in that mindset that this is it. This was all a trick by the so-called white man. This was all a trick. You know, have fun when you're in your teen years under your parents. Don't worry about bills because they paying for it. You know, get to 18 years old, get you a job, go to school, whatever, go to college. In the process of time, you start dating around whatever the fuck age you lose your virginity at 14, 15, whatever. You know, you fuck around, you experiment. You know, for some test, what is it? What's that fucking thing? Explore your sexuality and crap like that. You find a man, you know, that for you women, y'all want a fucking man that bows down to you. You know, that ain't a goddamn man. That's a pussy, man. All right. A real man's is going to lead his woman. And that woman's going to be, a real woman's going to be by that man no matter fucking what. You know, especially a man who's telling you the truth. But then you have all that crap, get married, which is a fucking trap. All right. That's a contract to the state. So the state can go into your life or intrude in your fucking life, man, whenever they please. That's a trap. The whole, what do you call it? Bowing down to marriage, or the guy getting on his knee. That's symbolic for the man bowing to the woman. Get the fuck out of here, man. This is all a trick by Esau. Because Esau's a bitch. Esau is the real woman. You know? He ain't got no spine. And he's the border of wickedness. When we go into the scriptures of Malachi, 2 Thessalonians, which I got that. This is a lesson about Esau and the whole mess that he created and how our people are delusioned by it. You've been lied to. You've been tricked. Okay? And now there's strongholds on your mind. You people fight when you hear the truth. You fight against it. That's how much of a good liar that this devil was. You know? But 2 Ezra 6 and 56. Well, I start at verse 55 again. All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes. For ours, Israel's. It says, as for the other people, these other nations, which also come of Adam, all right, which also come of Adam, which these other nations, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle. And you see their customs, man. I've seen East Indians, I've seen Arabs, I've seen Hamites all wash their fucking heads under a cow taking a piss or a shit. How the hell could they be chosen holy people? You know? Like how? Please make it make sense. Because if that's what the fuck is going to be sharing the kingdom with us, man, it's going to get real stinky. Because they have videos where they just have a shit ton of cows and they're just shitting and pissing, and dudes be standing under there just, washing their neck and, getting the fucking water, throwing it on their face. And, that's fucking gross, man. How could they be anything, man? How could those be the chosen? But yet the question arises, how could our people be the chosen too? Especially in the state that they are in right now. That's why it's a mystery. Because the scriptures talk about how these other nations, they wag their head. Because they know. They know we're the people of the Lord. But they see how fucked up Esau made us. They see how bugged out we are, man. Bitches think that they're allowed to just go the fuck out and twerk and fight with titties out, for a regular fucking Friday at night. You men, shooting up another nigga because, you fighting over the same woman. Man, that woman was fucking both of y'all, man. It's a lot of shit. But you got to get like that sometimes, because this is your legacy, you Israelites. This is what you would spend your days fighting about, arguing about. Where's the real glory? All right, we were made to be so much more, but you fighting over a block. All right, a dirty ass woman an unfaithful woman at that. You know, you other men that, kind of, you still a 2/3, but you kind of, you're more geared about just making money. Y'all think a college degree is going to get you somewhere in society. Y'all fighting to be just like the white man. You want to aspire, live just like the white man. The condition of luxurious living comes from the so-called white man. Because that ain't living. That's Esau's living. All right. But you look in the scriptures, the Lord tells you that he promises way better. A city paved with gold. Your house is going to have gold. Your walls might be gold. Whatever it is, whatever stones you want for your walls to be. Ain't going to be none of this fucking paint. The government ain't going to come in and be like, well, we need to discard of the lead paint. I found that out recently. It was never because kids were eating lead chips. It had nothing to do with that. It's because lead blocks EMF signals. Okay? It blocks EMF signals, which doesn't allow the dangerous part of the wave, the radio waves, to enter into the house. Yeah. Like, here it is, man. You thinking, oh, yeah, there's a risk. Which, yeah, lead poisoning, yeah, but who the fuck is going to be eating paint chips, man? It did happen, but everything is just a fucking lie everywhere we go, man. The only place that we have rest is in the scriptures, man. So, but it has to be said. It has to be talked about. We have to expose this man to the fullest, to where there's no hiding room for him at all. That's why the scriptures say that Esau has been made bare. He's got to be made bare so the whole world can know who this devil really fucking was, man. And he was calling himself a white man. Because when you hear the word white, you think about purity, cleanness. You hear black, you thinking negative. You thinking darkness, void of understanding. And then you look at our people, and yeah, they are void of understanding, but we ain't black. All right, we're dark brown, shades of brown. All right. It was a great trick, man. One great trick. 1 Corinthians 7:29 says, but this I say, brethren, the time is short. It remaineth that both they that have wives be that both they that have wives be as though they had none. Yeah, we, like I said, this is what I've been harping on for the past week. We were never here to establish a life. All right, we are slaves. Your so-called driver's license is a documentation of slavery. Your so-called your birth certificate is a documentation of you being a slave. Your Social Security is a bank account number. All right? Because you have a policy taken out on you the day that you're born. All right? And then you have incurred debt from the moment that you come into this world. And that's why you work it off. But do you ever really work it off? Fuck no. Only one guy that I knew that did that, and they killed him for it. It was Michael Jackson. All right? He was free from the system. He made it, and they killed him. They killed him in it for it. Micah 2:10 says, "Arise and depart, for this is not your rest." This is not our rest. I've been mentioning a lot of stuff lately, but look how this place treats you. Like, honestly, man. Like, yeah, you can have a couple of good days, even a couple of good weeks, shit, maybe a couple of good months, maybe. I don't even want to say even a month or a couple months, man. I don't want to say that. You can have a couple of good weeks, almost a month. And what always happens? What always happens, man? Some shit goes wrong. All the fucking time. I heard a quote from the movie Silver Lining with Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Lawrence. I like the movie. And he said that the world will tear your heart 10 ways to Sunday. And that's all you get in this place is heartbreak. Why would you want to stay in a place like this, man? Why would you and why would you want the person that's pushing that lie to want to be over you forever? But it says, as for the other people, 2nd Ezra 6:56, as for the other people which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. It says, and now, O Lord, behold these heathen, which have ever been reputed as nothing, have begun to be lords over us and to devour us. And that's what you got going on right now in this very waking moment. All right. You got these heathen devouring us. Some of them, they profit from our demise. You know, like, what is it? These fucking towelheads, man. What do you call them? East Indians, you know, with the gas stations, the liquor stores, you know, they just open up a store and sell liquor to Jake. But they've begun to be lords over us. We have no dwelling place here, man. We have no say so. When it comes to a matter, we have no fucking say so. Where's the leader for the black community, the Mexican community, the Native American community? Where are they at in these summit meetings? You know? Or these panel meetings? Where are they at? Where are our leaders? Where's the nation of Israel? Where's their leader? You know? Which we know who our leaders should be. But where, you know, but I'm not saying like talking down on, but that's the question. Where is our leader to talk with these other leaders, man? Because we ain't got no fucking place in this place. It says, but we thy people whom thou hast called thy firstborn, Israel, thy only begotten and thy fervent lover are given into their hands. Like the brother posted, Baruch 3:8, behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us for a reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which departed from the Lord our power. The main point being, behold, we are yet this day in our captivity. You know, you should be, you know, not so much overwhelmed, but you should be in this state of damn, like God damn. You know, well, the scriptures say that we sigh and we cry. You should be at that mode. You should be like, another fucking day in this place, man. Another fucking day of hell. You know, I keep it. You know, obviously I keep in contact with the brothers in my camp. You know, with the heads, and you know, sometimes, you know, one of the heads will, you know, one particular brother, he'll hit me up. You know, and he'll, you know, the last thing that we talked about, he just said, he's like, man, this place is fucking trash. It has to go. And I tell the brother, I feel your pain. Trust me. I know what you're feeling. This place is out of control. This devil, man, is you know, it might as well be chaos, man. But the scriptures call it the city of confusion. It's so much confusion, it's going to lead to chaos. You know, David prayed, when shall the end be? Or how, you know, when shall the end of the triumphing of the wicked be? So it said, if the world now be made for our sakes, why do we not possess an inheritance with the world? How long shall this endure? So even Ezra said the same thing. If this is supposed to be for us, man, why do we have no place in it? Going back to Micah 2:10, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted, and it shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction. And if you trust in this place, man, if you trust in the lingo and the circuit, the paradigm, the pattern of living that is pushed and promoted in this time, you're gonna fucking be destroyed. Ain't no easy way to say it. And you know, I'm tired of holding words back, you know, because you know, sometimes we have our lessons, we're just bold with it. Sometimes we just make lessons, you know, just, you know, with discretion, you know, just because the Spirit allowed you is having it that way. But then, like now, I'm just tired of it, man. That's why, if y'all ain't been noticing, I've been cussing a lot more, because it's done, man. This place has to go. We are living, man. We are living in the reality of slavery, and it's hard to know that, because the guy, you know, the slaver ain't coming around and beating you like, what you doing out here, boy, you know. But it's all an act. It was all a con, a scheme. But even at that, you still come across, you know, these crackers and shit that they show their racism. This is not your rest, because this is your captivity. And you got the most cruel ruler over you, the so-called white man. So let me go back to Jeremiah, because I wanted to bring this out earlier. And I'm going to, you know, throw out the title, All This Mess Because of Esau, the White Man, the Serpent. All right. Jeremiah 50 And this is why the Lord is going to come back. All right. You know, the Apostle Gabar always mentions how the Lord is going to, or the Lord through his son Yahweh Shai is going to do two things when he comes back to America. He's going to destroy this place. He's going to fucking annihilate it. And then he's going to deliver the elect in the process. The scriptures say that we're scarcely going to be saved, but that means that the elect are going to be saved. All right. But the Lord is assuredly going to destroy this place. All right. Thus saith the Lord. All right. But this is Jeremiah 50 and let me see. I'm going to start at Jeremiah 50 and 4. It says, in those days and in that time, saith Yahweh, the children of Israel shall come, they and the children of Judah together, going and weeping. They shall go and seek the Lord their power. And we're weeping right now too. All right. You notice that always happened with our people, man. We get put into captivity. And at some point, you know, at sometimes, you know, like Egypt, what happened in Egypt, man? Our people wanted to be there because they weren't, you know, yeah, they were being, you know, ruled by the Egyptians, but it wasn't to a point where they were uneasy about it. They were compliant, you know. They thought it was that they thought that was what they had to do for life, just to keep on living. Same thing here, man. You people are working. You know, you're 7 to 3, you're 5 to 1, you're 5 to 3, you're 8 to 5, you're 9 to 5. You know, your jobs. And because Esau, you know, puts this illusion that you can somewhat voice, but if you voice too much, your ass get fired, then it's okay. It's just the way of life. But eventually, when that oppression becomes too much, our people start to begin to cry out. And that's exactly what's been going on since 1969. When you go back into, what was it? Let me see. Hold on. Let me see. I'm going to just grab the phone. Hold on. A tight, faster cry went out at midnight. All right. Matthew 25 and 6, it says, while the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. Verse 6 says, and at midnight there was a cry made. Behold, the bridegroom cometh. Go ye out to meet him. That cry was made by that one individual, Abba Bivens. All right. The first of our people to come to the knowledge that he was an Israelite. All right. And ultimately where this truth started coming out from. Okay. And in the process of time, we got the understanding of the name of the Lord, Yahweh, and his son Yahweh Shai. We started getting, you know, through High Priest Ariah, Apostle High Priest Ariah, we got the 12 tribes of Israel, and we got a lot of understanding, man. And the apostles carried that torch on, you know, labored within the works before them up to this point. And ever since that time, we've been crying. This is us crying, man. We're complaining. We're making a complaint to the Lord of like, look at this shit, man. Help us. Get us out of it. Look at this man. Look at this evil ass man. Look what he's doing. And you know, even at sometimes, like, you know, you got to get to a point where you ask the Lord, like, didn't you promise that you would come back? Didn't you promise us that you would deliver us from this, man? Because look at this devil, man. Look how much he's really doing. Some of y'all people can't see it. And we're not here to convince you. We don't give a fuck if you listen. We never did. But it would be the right thing to do if you're an Israelite, all right, to listen and to seek out to be able to see and to trust in those names. Because they're coming, all right? That's it. But when oppression got so bad, our people would eventually cry out, and that's what we're doing right now. That's the point. All right, that's what we're doing. We're crying out to the Lord, begging him to deliver us. All right? What is that? What is that? What is that? Lamentations? Let me get this. Lamentations. Yep, Lamentations 4:21 says, rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, the so-called white man, which Edom is Esau, that dwellest in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken and shalt make thyself naked. Because that's what's going to happen next. The Lord's going to destroy this place and take Esau back into slavery. He's going to be our slaves. for 1,000 years. However long that time period is in the kingdom is up to the Lord. All right. But it said, the punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion, which is talking about Israel. He will no more carry thee away into captivity, which is a beautiful thing, man. This is the thing, man, that, you know, if I could, man, I would cry right now. Because, like, this is a beautiful thing. This is our last captivity. And it was the most cruel. It was the worst one, man. It really was. This is bitter as hell. You get teased all the time in this place. That's a form of torment. Just to know that it's all fake, you know, and that we were tricked by it, that falling away that came, you know, but it's all going to end. It says, O daughter of Zion, he will no more carry thee away into captivity. It says, he will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom, and he will discover thy sins. But before that occurs, we gotta expose this devil. So going back to 2 Thessalonians 2 and 3, it says, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. The man of sin is the so-called white man. The scriptures tell you, all right, the scriptures tell you not to commit adultery. This nigga went and printed a whole Bible and called it a misprint and called it the devil's Bible because it was a misprint saying thou shalt commit adultery. Why would you do that? Okay? Why would you do that? All right? The scriptures tell you to not line yourself up. You can go to a barbershop and get lined up, edged up, shaved. All right? Scriptures tell you, you know, well, I won't use that one example, but there's a code of conduct for every facet of living in this time or in reality. How to take care of your kids, how they should be instructed, how your son should be instructed, how your daughter should be instructed. Okay? And this devil allows them to do whatever the fuck they want, puts the woman above in the household, because he knows that the household will be destroyed if that's what happens. The man can't say shit. The man can't lift his hand up to the woman or the children if they get out of line. The woman can fuck whoever she wants. The man take, you know, vengeance, and, you know, he go to jail. You know, you know, you can beat a 12-year-old girl to death with a shovel and get released because you got to claim insanity. You know? Makes no damn sense, man. And so this is all being revealed. And that's just, you know, again, that's just a few, man. I'm going to start driving again, so, you know, bear with me. That's just a few examples. Okay? But there's a lot more that this devil's done. The blasphemy, man, that he's committed against the Heavenly Father and the Son. All the lies, man. All the lies. You know, just take your pick. Okay? Just take your pick. You know? But it says, until that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. All right? The son of perdition. The son of destruction. All right, the son of opposition, man. That's another thing. That's all this devil does. All right, that's all he does. He opposes. Well, when you look into right there, who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called God. When you look up that word oppose it goes into how he challenges everything. All right, he challenges the Lord in his ways. But Esau would say that his ways are better. Bugged out, man. The Lord talks about this man being the only person on the planet that's not going to receive mercy. And for good reason, when you've seen everything he's done and doing. You know? Time is short, like the brother posted, man. It's coming to an end, man. 2 Esdras 15:6 says, for wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Yeah, and the main works that are fulfilled are being done by Esau. Because he's, I don't know who it was that said it, but they said the system is not broken, it's just working. He said it's working when everybody's lazy and not asking questions and just doing what they're told to do. So, yeah, nobody's searching out, seeking out, So, yeah, this devil has made his ways work. But we know that the Lord's going to deal with him, man. That's the point. All right. So it said, who opposed it and exalted himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple as God, shewing himself that he is God. And it said, remember ye not, when I was yet with you, I told you these things. And now you know what withholdeth that he might be revealed in his time. And he was being revealed in the Roman Empire. But then his major exposure is coming right now, at the last of his reign and rule. All right, the scriptures tell you that Esau is the end of the world. And we're living at that time. We're living under the rulership of Esau still. So he's being exposed in his time. All right. It says, for the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. And this devil will be taken out of the way. This liar is going to be destroyed. Okay. We're just waiting. We're just waiting, man. He's making, this devil's making his moves, and every move he thinks he's making he thinks he's going to win. But every move he's making is just making him closer to the return of Yahweh Ba'al Shem Yahushai. So it says, and then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth. And what's the spirit of his mouth? The prophets. We're the mouthpiece of the Lord. All right. It says that he shall be consumed, because ain't going to be no more hiding room for this devil to hide from when the Lord returns, after we've warned the fuck out of him, man, and let him know his judgment's coming. Again, this devil was made to be what? A vagabond and a fugitive. So a vagabond is a man who's moving, back and forth, wandering to and fro. He's moving throughout the earth, right? And notice who does that the most in this time. All right, it's Esau. And then it said that he should be a fugitive. So he's a man running from justice. Okay? But his clock is Popeye, man, from the movie Blood In, Blood Out. He's like, you're on the clock, bitch, and midnight's coming. Hey, Esau, you on the clock, bitch. Hey, your times have been determined. Like I said in Job 14:5, your time has been determined. All right? Or the Lord has determined your times. And you're living off of borrowed time, to be honest. And the only reason is for the elect. The Lord is sealing up the elect. Okay? But it says, and then shall the wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and who shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. That's going to be with the thermonuclear destruction. All right? The nuclear fallout war that's going to come and take place in America. Okay? That is coming, man. Just watch the news. All right? It said, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, which the word, it says even who's coming. When it talks about coming, it's talking about his presence. And we know this devil is Satan, man. We know he's satanic. That's all he's into, satanic occult shit. So whose presence is after the coming of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders. And the word lie means intentional conscious falsehood. So this devil is intentionally lying to you, and he knows he's lying to you. And he's just laughing about it too. But that time is coming to an end. Again, all the mess that Esau made, man, it's gonna be paid back. All right? Just in time, we just gotta wait. Wait for the Lord. And the Lord will not tarry. He's on his way, man. But fuck Esau, man. That's all I got to say. So, with that, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'al Shem Yahushai, Ba'al Shem Kakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, which rule well. Peace and much love, honors and blessings to the elect of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, which hold their conduct, composure, and integrity. To the next one I say, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua Barakathum. Hey, Kwame Shalom, Shalom, and the water for tuning in. Shalom.